this is roughly how I would describe the trade deadline. It was wild. Like, there were some trades in there. But I wouldn't really consider it like overall like wow, that these guys, why did they trade this? Why did they do that? Well, I mean, there's some of them, but it's not like there was a whole thing for it. But there was moves, and some of them involved a certain team that is now tanking for next year, not this year, next year. Hell, anyway, just wanted to do a quick video on some of the trades. Maybe it's all of them, maybe it's not. I'm pretty sure I probably missed a couple. So let's switch over to this. There we go. If it looks terrible, I'm sorry. Um, we had a trade earlier this week. I'd consider it part of the deadline. Uh, well, I mean, it says here, but I think that was just updated. Leonard Williams was traded for a 2024 second, and a 2025 fifth round pick. To the Giants, the Seattle receives the picks. I mean, I guess it's a good move for the Giants. I'd say it's a good move for the Giants and the Seahawks, a win-win situation. Because Seahawks they need pass rush. It's a second and a fifth. It's not like overly terrible. He's decent, and the Giants, well, they're trash. So it's better that they do that. But it's small. Another smaller trade. Browns are trading. They traded Donovan Peoples Jones back to his hometown, the Lions, for one sixth round pick. I'm sorry, my mouse is doing today. He just wasn't being used that much. But yeah, that it's yeah, I think it's a decent move. I mean, the Browns were just not utilizing him, and more for the offense. That just sounds terrible to me. And then the Vikings did a thing. In fact, they did multiple things. They traded for Josh Dobbs to eventually replace Hall. I forgot his first name, but that Hall dude with the Vikings. They aren't tanking. I'd say that the Vikings probably have a ceiling of 10 wins with Josh Dobbs. I feel like Dobbs he's a pretty good backup. I'd say he'd be in the upper echelon of backups. Uh, it's not like they give up much. They sent a sixth rounder and got a seventh round pick as well. So it's the same value of deal as Chase Claypool trade to the Dolphins. Help anyway. So Jaron Hall, yeah, there we go. I'd say I kind of wanted him to start this week for the simple fact that he could start 17 games for two different teams, but I think I'd save that for 17 games, including the playoffs. But then the Vikings then decided to trade uh, a guard to the Jaguars for a sixth round pick. Not this, because they only got seventh. They just traded a sixth. Now, from what I've heard, that he wasn't really being used. I mean, if PFF graded him top 10, but yeah, And then the biggest trade of the day involving the Chicago Bears. Montez Sweat to the Bears for a second round pick. Now, Leonard Williams did technically have more value. He got an extra fifth round pick for that. But this one was of a bit more of like a whoa, because the Chicago Bears were involved. I like this. I would have probably preferred this guy over Chase Young, considering injuries and all. Unless we got like Chase Young for a fifth, and yeah, I'd be happy with that. But I feel like he's much more of a long-term deal. There's this whole thing where like, oh, the Bears are not going to sign him long term. Do you realize that he wasn't even passing his? You have to take an extra day to pass a physical, and then the trade, like, actually is accepted. It goes through, but it doesn't get like, it you can still go back at any time if they fail the physical, but kill a fail in that. So it's a second round pick, our own second round pick. So we're gambling again, but just like with the whole, we trade up for Mitch Trubisky and then we trade up for Justin Fields, I feel like it would work out better the second time. I also think that we decided not to trade for Chase Claypool, Chase Young, because, well, I think you can understand. Anyway, so Sweat, he left, and guess who's also not leaving? Jalen Johnson. I was like, when I woke up yesterday morning, I was like, oh God, please no, let's not trade him. And we didn't. Now there's the whole reports that, oh, he's just gonna hold out. But the thing is that if we get this guy the contract, then we just eat the franchise tag on him, and then we negotiate a contract. We were also negotiating a contract with him, apparently. That's just what I've heard for the past 2 hours. But then the Commanders did another trade. Trade Chase Young to the 49ers for a third round pick. What the NFL executives or the executives are thinking is that Sweat is like the long-term guy, and this is just a trade for a boost. It's a third round pick. A third. And it's a comp pick. One of the 3 that they're getting from their guy. I don't know. It's really strange. The 49ers are like getting all the third round picks necessary to do whatever. And now now there's that. There's Nick Bosa and Chase Young on the same D line. It's actually kind of scary. Thank God we don't play him. That's a pretty good deal for the 49ers, but it kind of just makes the Commanders look more damning because why? I understand trading one. You can build around the other if you want to, but trading both is just yeah. Oh, trading both is just bad. But I guess if you want to tank next year, then whatever. Up next, a relatively small trade that actually happened on the 30th, not technically deadline. Falcons trading for the Eagles' Kentavious Sweat for the 6th round, 7th round swap, whatever. If he at least plays 6 games. That's a weird caveat. What is it referred to? 7th? It's a decent trade. I mean, I guess the Falcons needed something, and it probably meant that the Eagles were going to cut him anyway, so they just throw him something and move on. And then also a week before this, the Eagles trade for All-Pro safety Kevin Byard. Oh boy, the rest of the league was mauling, because not only did they trade for a 2-time All-Pro and Pro Bowler, All-Pro in 2021, he was traded for where the fuck is it? He was traded for like the Titans get Terrell Edmunds and a 5th and 6th round pick. That's nothing. I'm sorry, but the Titans, why are you even ever trading with the Eagles? Howie Roseman knows something that you don't, clearly. And that's just weird. And then the final trade, just as it comes in, as his beauty, Rasul Douglas got traded away. for a third. They're giving him the Bills. The Packers are giving the Bills a fifth round pick and Rasul Douglas for a third third round pick. I still don't understand. I've tried seeing how what like other people were saying about. I still have no idea what the hell it was for. I feel like it was a panic move made by the Packers that they were getting yelled at by their fan base that, hey, you've been doing nothing at the trade deadline for the past 5 years. Do something. So they panicked and they were like, oh, fine, we'll do something. We'll just wait for a call. Got a call from the Bills who in the Jalen Johnson. They were trying to get Jalen Johnson. Didn't get them. So they called the Packers. They were like, yo, Rasul Douglas, give me. And they sell him this deal. Okay. Okay. Now, while Rasul Douglas, I mean, he's good, I feel like they really undervalued him. That's what I feel like about some of these trades. I just feel like they're super undervalued. And there was nothing that was like overly as I said before, wild. There was nothing overly wild. The one thing that people were saying were like, oh, why did the Bears trade for somebody? Why didn't they just stand pat? Why didn't they even trade anyone away? Well, I believe that Poles really thinks that he has a team that can win. I believe that he thinks that he could win with this group right now. I don't know what fucking drugs he's on, but I believe that he thinks that he can do something. You know, that step one would be firing your head coach. You know that, right? Like, seriously, that would be the first step. But I guess I can say that we're trying, and that's good. I guess. I I don't know. Anyway, that's all from me. I'll see you either later this week or this weekend. I don't know. 3 uploads in one day, Jesus. Anyway, bye bye.